Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be checking out the newest episode of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, episode 11 of season 4. Last week's episode was top notch. Honestly, this whole season I've loved how they built up Maribel and even like the way they made the ending about her and things like that. I've really enjoyed her entire character. So while it is a slight shame that she kind of was just a stepping stone for Yuki, I did actually really enjoy last week's episode still, and I'm generally expecting going into these things that Rimmer's kind of overpowered. But what I'm most excited for now is how this changes things because even though she's out of the picture, we still have her grandfathers, and I assume when he finds out about her death, that it's going to cause some real problems for us. So that's something I'm really excited for. And other than that, we still have the dragon fight going on. So I imagine that's what we're focusing on this episode. But yeah, other than that, I don't want to waste too much more time. Get right into this episode. If you are new to my channel, this is more of a watch along than a straight up reaction. So if you'd like the audio and/or full video, you can sync up with your own copy of the episode. I'm personally watching on Crunchyroll. Um, but if not, you can see it blurred behind me and read the subtitles below me to follow along. I'll just give us a countdown and we can get right into this episode. Three, two, one, start. Go right into backstory stuff. Long time ago. Four true dragons. Yeah, I remember that. Woman, father, power to his child. Oh, interesting. Always lost it. Oh, are we actually gonna see? Oh, adorable. So proud of herself. Oh, that's fair. I didn't really think about it that God. Adorable, but I feel like this is gonna turn dark pretty quickly. He just ate the entire apple in one go. Then yeah, of course. Great Sorcerer Nation. And this art style, I think it's the same one we've seen previously, but it's so good. Thing of the past. But yeah, that artwork is always so clean. Yeah. Wait. Oh, what's his name? That's the dude in like the ice castle. I see. Man, are we really gonna have to take this out or honestly Rimuru being Rimuru, he would want to save it somehow, but I don't know if it's possible. Killed her friend away. Oh, interesting. Oh, even putting the flower count on him. Ooh, Oh, caught it. Great cut back to present day. And she's ridiculously strong. I'm not sure if she's going to be able to fight him like that. We'll have to see. And also, it was the dragon that got resurrected. It was her friend. I thought that was the dragon that was, but I also wasn't 100% sure. I actually love how in that little flash story or flashback backstory, there was a couple things that it touched on, like the naming. I love how it's tying in a lot of previously introduced concepts into the story, just in the background. I like how it's moving. And we still have a lot of stuff happening here, but I'm pretty sure all of this isn't actually um exactly how it happens in the show or anything. Because at least right now, I don't think we have Diablo or um Tuna. Oh yeah, actually right there in the opening you can even see her charge up an attack and then not go all the way through. Also, I mentioned the grandfather earlier. I saw there was someone in my comments who's actually seemed like a pretty big fan as well, so that's got me kind of hyped to see how the character will play out in the future. God. Very honestly, like the most CG dragon we've ever gotten in the show before. Oh, that is actually a crazy cool. I love the effects. Oh yeah, can't hold that. That's impressive if it's able to just break through Milim's barriers like that. Like it's got to be strong. That God, you can hear it in her voice how unconfident she is about this. I didn't realize it has like a split tongue. I like the gems and crystals on it though. Former elemental dragon. Oh, I didn't even notice it was bigger or anything. Taken over by. It is a fucking massive ass dragon. Oh, he got a fucking beam attacker like a bijou bomb on the way. Dude, the sound effect of that lightning. The sound design on those explosions is amazing. And my girl. Oh, I really love the sound effects. Also, that blast looked good. That fucking took down like a quarter of the castle in one attack. Yeah, I guess we are underground. Try and keep Is that? It's green. Oh, it's the soul. Astral body. Not pure soul due to corruption. Oh, but it's still part of it there. Great. So it does look like I'm gonna be able to save it in some sort of capacity. I really, yeah, I love this how we built up our trust between the two of them. That music. That that was an amazing shot. Oh, fucking big old ball. God, that tax. I think that's the same one. I don't know if that's the exact one she used against the last one. I feel like I remember her using that against her right with like the lion demon lord. Yes, my lord. I love the sound design in this episode. Almost there. Oh, there's a lot of malice in there. Oh. Oh, this is happening at the same time. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I just assumed after her death it still stayed on there. Oh, interesting. He got rid of like all the piercingness out of it and just made it into like a pure crystal. Oh, the effects and sound design in this episode are incredible. Despite the CGI dragon, this episode still looks really incredible. Aw. But it's like breaking it apart. Oh, it's just an astral body now. Anna and Soul confirmed. Holy shit! That effect is crazy. Holy shit! Oh fuck, it looks like it's consuming a planet almost. Bring it smaller and smaller. Oh, the fiery, like, red effect around the outside looked so cool when it was compressing. Is that, like, the same as, like, the artificial core for, like, the golems and stuff like that? It did touch on this earlier. Name I always wanted to call it. Gaia. Oh! That I thought he was I was not expecting it to get like that. I thought he was gonna put it in, like, an artificial body or something. It's always so funny. Occasionally, she has her moments where she seems like almost the older sibling, but a lot of times it really does seem like Rimmer's just like her older brother, which is I don't know. That whole stuff was adorable. Oh yeah, because she didn't have any of the knowledge. Still chose me, huh? Bro really understands his place. Out raising suspicion. What a dude. Yeah, my boy, exactly. That is kind of fair. Damn, that's putting a lot of yeah, that. Oh, I didn't realize they're just figuring this out. So that's still somewhat of a secret to them. The connection, interesting. They had beef like that. We didn't know he was a hero. Yeah, I think the grandfather might actually end up being a bigger problem than Maribel herself. Trying to play it into his favor. King of this world, huh? I'm really interested to see more about his backstory and what exactly drives him to this point. Or that is fair. It kind of did get messed up. Far off goal. Still puts it on himself. Yeah, thank you. This dumbass. I'm pretty sure she tried. Oh, interesting. It is always interesting that Raphael is essentially. It's not just like all of the answers. It has its own like little personality and everything, especially as it's grown stronger. Oh, interesting. Taking on the full responsibilities. That is true. Friends and a partner. I'm always worried that we're gonna have a roadblock where oh, that's what I was thinking. Either Raphael's gonna become its own like full entity separate from Rimuru, or something along the lines of that. No, because we've definitely seen Great Sage into Raphael like evolving. Oh, that art! Dude, the art on his face there in that last sequence was incredible. I loved that. Um, pull that back up. But yeah, other than I'm sure it'll bother some people more than others, but it didn't take me out that much. There was a CGI dragon in this episode, was significantly noticeable, but the actual episode itself was fantastic. The story, the way they gave us a little bit more information and expanded on this story about her and the dragon, adorable. All of the scenes with her as a kid. I love her them setting up the name and everything. Or like the concept of naming it in the flashback, and then we cut to the present day while we actually do it. Um, like all of the art style, we've seen a little bit of this. Um, I'm pretty sure we've seen this art style when we saw the backstory last time, but it's so incredible. I also don't know if we saw this shot last time we saw this when she talked about it, but I'm pretty sure I forget what this dude's name is. I want to say it's something like I don't know. I can't place my name, but he's one of the people that was in that like I think it was like an ice castle. And one of the demon lords. It yeah, so it was interesting to see him flash there. We do know he has a tie to the dragons as well. Um, yeah, but that whole sequence at the start of the episode, top notch. And also, there was a partway through this episode where just the bond between Rimuru and Milim, and also just like how much you could feel Milim's like love for this dragon. Also, it hit me in the feels a little bit. Also, probably just because I got like fucking 3 hours of sleep last night, but it hit me right in the feels again this week. Um, and despite there being a CGI dragon, everything else in this episode looked fantastic. Like all of the effects, um, like all of the like more magical attacks and everything, and like absorbing the giant like explosion essentially with Beelzebub was really cool. I love just the way that was done. This whole interaction between them also just adorable as fuck. I'm really excited. I don't know this might be the last episode of this core. Might have one more, but I think they announced like we have like 60 episodes or something of Slime coming. I'm not sure if it's continuous or if there'll be a couple breaks in between some of these cores. I forget. I think there is breaks, but they are planning on like 60 episodes, which is crazy. So I don't know how soon we'll actually get to see her with this dragon, but I cannot wait. Um, I've actually loved a lot of the stuff with Milim this season. We got everything in the beginning of this season where she was like got her like slime form when we were doing like the dungeon raiding and everything, which was perfect. I loved that. Um, and in between this, focusing a little bit more on her, it was really fun. Yuki's still plotting in the background and whatnot, and I love also just how realistic he is about it. Like even after getting a power buff, he's like, I ain't got no shot against Rimuru. So he plays it very smart. Um, and then honestly, um, that scene I feel like I don't remember if we've seen this or not as well. Um, but Granville like facing off against Luminous is really cool. I love that. So that's gonna be next focus between Yuki and him. Either they're gonna plot together or Yuki's gonna get in shit after he gets found out that he's the one who took out her out. Because especially just from like how much tears he had at the end of the episode, but just like I called her like humanity's hope or something like that, which is kind of crazy. But I understand where he's coming from, especially since they seem like more anti-monster type of characters. But you insist on taking everything from me again. I don't know if this is just a portrait of Maribel or if this is someone else in his family, like because I forget what exactly we all touched on his family because we do have a little bit of lore about him, but we're more introducing to him in like this season and the last one a little bit. So I don't have all of my information down pat on him yet. But that shot of just the way they drew his face, it honestly a little bit let it play and get a good shot of it. it reminds me a little bit of like the art from like Nippon Sangoku if you're watching that this season. Another fantastic show, but like those I don't even know what type of lines you would call those, but like they're so detailed, um, and like very striking. Like immediately when you see that shot of that animation, and I guess more art than animation, just looks so cool. And yeah, I would say my only complaint this episode was I'm usually not a fan of a CGI dragon, um, but it still looked really fantastic. And I think if this is the one thing they have to budget cut on, not even necessarily budget cut, but just like spend a little bit less time focusing on this, for the incredible last episode we've had, and like there's been no bad looking episodes. This has like the CGI dragon is definitely the weakest, but um, I mean, I think I like teared up a little bit in this episode. So like, it obviously didn't take me out enough where I wasn't like, um, just feeling like the story, the emotions of all these characters and everything. And I love that we did actually manage to take care of this. Um, and I was right that opening is so misleading. I'm glad I wasn't. I assume that's the case because that dragon fight in the opening it looks nothing like this one. It's not set up with the same characters. Um, and also anyone who's watched this opening, um, well, it's maybe not my favorite opening this season. There is some incredible animation, in it, especially during the dragon fight. Like the dragon looks fantastic in the opening. So the fact that we don't get that same quality during the actual fight is a little bit disappointing. I can't lie, but the actual like concepts here and the way we went about saving the dragon, when I did end up being alright, we didn't have to take it out and kill it. That seemed a bit too dark for the show. Every once in a while, this show does tread into the more darker themes, or like when we had that arc where Shion was killed and then we resurrected her and stuff like that. Um, but this show tends to be a much more some people always call this as like a power fantasy, just like um because of how like OP Rimuru was, and he definitely is, and that is an element of the series. But a big part of it is just like how just like happy and positive this series is always such a treat to watch. Um, I really always enjoy like the characters and how they work together to try and solve these problems and whatnot, and just how much Rimuru cares about the people that he has working for him or are friends with. Um, he's a really fantastic main character. And I'm so excited to see Gaia. I'm wondering if it's going to be the same design or if it'll be changed at all. Um, that'll be very fascinating to see. But I think other than that, that's kind of all my thoughts on this episode. It was relatively straightforward episode. There was a little bit of hints of information here and there, and we teased off um, uh, Granville at the end there, which that shot is one of my favorite of the entire episode. Um, I do here. Let me just quickly check. I think um, mm, or I don't remember when we get more slime. Sharing part two. Oh, there's no date for part two yet, and I don't see an episode count anywhere. So we'll have to wait and see. Um, what the case is if we have more episodes airing or what exactly. If this is the finale for this core, that will be a little bit of a shame because I'm loving this season so much, but I don't mind having to wait a few more like weeks or months or whatever for the next episodes because I always try not to complain too much when a series needs time, especially because the amount of work that these animators put into shows like this is ridiculous, especially on something like this where they get out episodes quite frequently. And they do a fantastic job. Like even sometimes when you get like I've mentioned a lot just because it's something that I feel like is going to be talked about. But a lot of times when you have a CGI dragon, everything else around it also makes it look super out of place. But the way the staff, like the animators and the storyboarders, and just like all of the people working on this show, the way they framed it out always and like to show the visuals around it, made the dragon blend into the world much better. Um, it's by far not the worst uh CGI dragon I've seen. There's some where it looks like almost like something out of a video game just pluffed onto the screen next to everything else. This at least tried to like combine them and whatnot very well. And there was actually, I didn't talk about this during my discussion, but there was a shot. I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was like Rimuru flying up onto the dragon, and it was still CGI, but it's kind of what, yeah, right here. CGI allows you to do some of these camera angles sometimes, and this is like where it really, um, I know some people are like CGI disgusting. Bleh. I'm usually not that against it, especially with a series that can blend it super well. Like I loved the first season of Chainsaw Man and some other series that can like really blend CGI like that because well, it can be done in 2D animation. It's just very difficult to portray not depth, but just like camera angles like that and movement. Um, even some choreography can be hard, but in CGI, it can look amazing. There's a reason why, even though, like Ruby, for example, the early seasons don't really look the best, they're so incredible to watch and so engaging because, rest in peace, go, but Montiome, um, the work he did on that series with, um, like all the action, choreography, and everything, made it so like you don't give a shit that it's CGI that you're watching or like computer generated stuff. You just like, this is awesome, so cool. Um, so that's something I always appreciate about CGI, and I definitely noticed them use it to their advantage in that scene. So I'm glad it wasn't just oh we're cutting budget or we're saving time, so we're throwing in this dragon. They at least used the elements of the upsides of like CGI and how you can portray things and whatnot, and also like the scale of the dragon was pretty impressively done as well, which is something that tends to be easier with CGI as well because you're essentially putting in like a giant three-dimensional object into the thing, so it's easier to show that scale without having to show so much little detail and um, whatnot to make a 2D image appear super 3D. But yeah, it's kind of all my thoughts on this episode. Yeah, but a lot as usual, but really enjoyed it. I will be sad if we're going on break now, but I will be here whenever we get to next episode. Hopefully just next week, but we will have to wait and see. But other than that, I'll catch you guys all later, and peace.